So I'll say one decision I look back at now that I feel I should have made, if I could have made it, was to have built structure. I have always seen money as a tool. If the Lord is leading you, that does not exempt the fact that you'd have to put in your own work to research. It's not out of place to say you built from leverage. Not every passion should be a main deal.
If I may ask, we've known ourselves for how many years now?
Wait. It's almost 10 years now.
Close to 10 years, Abby.
Yes.
And
wow.
I'm still thinking about it though. And in this period, right, you were doing like so many things. And I still remember I met you. No, not how we met. I still remember the first time I saw you.
Oh, wow.
And I remember you had this pastor wife kind of look with this kind of hat you had on your head in RCF as at that time. But let's not even go into that conversation. I know we've never had that conversation. I intentionally did not say it. But in that ways, how has business been for you in all of these years? Because I know at various times you were doing something. You were busy with doing something.
That's true. That's true.
So let's even start from when we met, like close to like 10 years ago, 70, I can't even remember. What, for you, how has business been for you?
I think it has been a journey with different expressions popping up at different points.
Okay.
Yes, but at the end of the day, looking at what my journey has been so far, there is a factor that links everything I've done so far so good.
Okay.
There is a major theme. Yes, let me put it that way.
Right.
There's a major theme that links all the expressions I've had over the years.
Which is?
I've had to do different businesses that have been in the food and beverage sector. So the longest businesses I've had to, so they've been in the consumption, food and beverage, and of course creative arts. So I'm a crafty person.
Right. So for you, was it that you just saw an opportunity to do a business, or probably you just had a passion, or you needed money? Because that also is like a legit reason as to why someone might be into business. So for you, or let's even start with, give us your background. When did you start? When did business become a thing for you? Because when you were in school, right?
Yes.
You had a business.
Yes.
And I want to believe that you've been into business before you gain admission into school.
You're very correct.
You didn't tell me that part, but I know. So that means it's been over. When I graduated, let's say about 15 years. I may be wrong. Like you've been into business, let's say 10, 15.
If we look at it, yes, that's correct. Yes,
Okay.
that's very correct. From like about 2011.
That is a long time.
Yes.
So what made you go into this stuff? What propelled the decision? Like what influenced the decision about that?
I just wanted to do something. So I've always just been this person who would want to produce stuff.
Okay.
Get working with my hands. So I wouldn't say there was a need for money or cash flow. The first ever thing I remember selling. So, okay. The first thing I made were key holders. So I made key holders. But then that was because I've always enjoyed being that person who can create stuff. I'm very creative when it comes to like crafts, arts and crafts and all. So I made key holders because we had an event coming up in church and I had learned the basics of bead making. I just created key holders, got key rings. But that was just making a gift for people who were coming for the program we had in church. But the first thing I remember selling was chin chin.
Okay.
So I made chin chin in secondary school. That was like the first thing ever I know I made and sold and made profit from. And I was say that was one major thing I did. Sell. I produced and sold.
As you were talking, something's going through my mind.
Okay.
Was there anyone in your family that
Yes.
probably influenced that decision?
Influenced. Okay, my mom has always been a business person.
Okay.
So growing up, my mom has always been this person who she has a business, and then of course raw food materials, foodstuffs and the likes is what she sells. Was there encouragement from family? Yes. Oh my God. I remember my mom still joining me to fry the chin chin then in secondary school. So it was just from a natural desire to, I always loved the subject. Then it was food and nutrition. And then, from home economics, and then getting into senior secondary school, choosing to continue with food and nutrition as opposed to agriculture. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I made chin chin. So it was the encouragement, saying that, oh, this is something that comes naturally because my mom has always been selling stuff. But then she didn't prepare like end user consumption grade food. But that environment, I would say, was what helped. It really helped be able to think of an idea and be able to use my mother's gas.
No, I think that speaks of leverage, right?
Yeah, because, right?
Yeah, in a way, I think I was just in my thought process yesterday. I don't even know how this links to business. And it in a way shows that, I think I was watching a video and someone said something as regards but when she was little, she suffered. Now, but she's not a businesswoman. But now her daughter is doing something and she charges in dollars. But the funniest thing is, the people that are buying what she's selling is her contacts, not her child.
Wow.
Because she does not have the contacts. Like, speaking of leverage, so that means you had some sort of leverage, right, from your mom. You're using that gas. Of course, you aren't paying with your money. Even though at some point, I want to believe you might be saving.
Yes, and I got equipment that I bought from I still have the rolling pin I bought then.
Right.
Very solid rolling pin. I still have the rolling pin I got from Proceeds. Right. And then, so you can imagine what it was. And then this standard industrial weighing scale. I got like a weighing scale, very, very standard one. Then that I still have till now.
Sustainability. So now that you have taken us down memory lane, let's go a bit further. Let's talk about was there any decision you wish you had made earlier in terms of business that probably had, let's say, negative impact, or probably you thought would have had some sort of positive impact at some point if you had taken decision much more earlier? Or was there any decision you wish you didn't take, or you probably felt, oh, this decision I made, this wasn't the right time for it, or probably I was way beyond my age, or because there are people that you have seen, I don't know if you've watched movies or something, or probably they're doing a documentary about someone.
Yes.
And somebody somewhere will say, this particular person was way beyond his age. So people couldn't relate with whatever the person was in at that time. So after years had passed, I'm just saying though, so after years had passed, people now began to appreciate the skill and the efforts at that time. So let's talk about that for now before we go into other stuff.
Okay, yes. Because I moved on from making chin chin to small chops before it was known as small chops in Nigeria.
Interesting.
So as at 2016-ish, I had a growing small chops business. So I'll tell one decision I look back at now that I feel I should have made, if I could have made it, was to have built structure. Because right after secondary school, I waited for a bit before I gained admission into the university. In that period, was when I went for my extensive training on extensive fashion designing training for about a year and 6 months.
Right.
While at that too, I had my small chops business that was growing. I had like a very good customer base that was steady. But I did not create a structure for it that could allow me resume school in a different state, because I had to move from Lagos to Delta State and have a business running because I had my customers. So I could not structure it. I didn't get to structure it well. And even I didn't know so much. I didn't know enough to just start up as a new student, still doing my small chops. I feel if I had structured it better, I most likely would still be doing that right now on a larger scale.
Larger scale.
Yes, on a larger. I'll be doing that on a larger scale right now.
And how are you able to cope afterwards? Like, so how were you able to like make sure you stand by the fact that you didn't have the structure, especially when you moved to Delta State, for instance? So how were you able to navigate the whole system?
Like, do you mean starting out in a new space?
In a new space, in a new environment, having to get new customer and all of this stuff?
So when I moved to Delta State, I highly leveraged on the community. Firstly, the church community, and then my school community. I coordinated my class. I had over 183 students, colleagues of mine who I was coordinating. In church, I had the church community, and then at different points, I was also in a leader at different points. So that community was there. I was able to, and we had a commercial unit in church. Yes, so I think one thing that helped starting out in church was there was an opening where, as a person who you have your products in church, you have what you do, you could walk up to the commercial unit head and just pitch your business idea or plan to the person. And if it's something that fits into what they have ongoing, because you understand the business space better as a newbie, you're a fresher, I was able to now say, oh, I can make snacks. I can do this. How about I supply you at this rate and you sell at this rate? So it was easy for me to reach out to the commercial unit heads. I just knew I could do that and did it. And that was how I started supplying snacks.
Right.
In church. And moved on to when, because I attended RCF, that's Redeemed Christian Fellowship in church as a student. We have what we call like our zonal congresses. We had one zonal congress that we hosted in Abraka then. And I also produced a lot of donuts because we had the number. That was one other thing I could do because I'd already started with the regular Sunday service. Could then go on to do full-scale donut production. And also I walked up to people selling snacks on the streets around my hostel and school environment that I started supplying occasionally.
So as you were talking, something came to my mind.
Okay.
Right, because it seemed as though you've had like some sort of success story in business, right? Before we even go down to even the bad times, one of the things that I don't know if you probably recognize or you probably observe rather, is that there are many people that when they see that, for instance, they are doing quite well in business, they don't focus on that thing again. Why I'm saying so is because of the knowledge I have of you as regards your academics.
Okay.
She gets. So let us put it down. I'm able to balance because I know that you're a leader at different points. So it's not new to me. So you're a leader in church, you're a leader in fellowship, you're a leader back at home. You're a leader in church fellowship, you were a leader in
as a national things affairs.
Yeah, you were even a leader in the department, and yet you still had a good grade. Your project was there.
I was a politician.
She gets. So how were you able to balance? What is the balance on of this thing? What decision were you like going like, did you have to at any points? She gets like hours. All of this, the balance.
I would say that it was a lot stretching myself. So was there ever a balance? I don't know. I just found myself doing all of the things I had to do at the time that I had to do them. So I just found a way around it. I found a way around it. Taking up gigs when I had orders, taking up orders, and just calculating when I would be off school. Because of course I was always spending a lot of time in school. I found myself just being interested in administrative duties also. So beyond being, I was not just a regular course rep. I was not just a regular coordinator.
Right.
I tried to understand what it was, working with my lecturers, the administrative arm of work, coordinating lectures. So I had all of that planning done in school. That helped me understand, at this time I have to be in church. I can make out time to prepare ahead of time. So Sunday mornings, for instance, if I have to work on Sunday mornings, I wake up super early to start producing snacks that I'll take with me to church. When I have to deliver to people who are selling on the streets, I just calculate, that means I would know that, I have like super early mornings on these days, wake up early, get things doing. So it was a lot of, there were losses here and there at different points, but it also took me planning my days and planning all I had to do at different points too. So I just ensured that I knew what I had to do per time and could navigate my day.
Okay, so you in a way just found balance.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so if we now go back to your business, for instance, at some point, or when you started, you were doing chin-chin.
Yes.
Then at some point, you are still a fashion designer.
I am still a fashion designer.
I'm thinking, did you transition? Like, okay, there's no longer markets for this, or is it like you understood, like, okay, I don't have market for this again. People are not asking for the orders are not coming in again for small shops, and what I'm seeing is that people are coming over. I'm having more orders, or I can have more orders from tailoring or fashion design, as the case may be. So at what point did you transition, or are you still in both of that? Are you still there?
I have never had to transition out totally from any expression, because so it's now boiled down to me working. I'm currently working to create systems. Yes.
Right.
Because as someone who does different things, so I can now categorize all that I do into the food and beverage sector, and then the fashion sector, because crochet and sewing, there's a fashion expression to all that I do. So, but now there are seasons to it. In this space, in this age, in this time that it is, both of them are, there is now the need to balance both of them. Well, before now, I had to do a lot more of the fashion, the sewing. I just decided to put myself out there, because another thing we need to talk about is being comfortable enough to put oneself out there, especially when it comes to crafts. So whatever craft expression that it is, are you able to share that you do this thing, even if you know you do it so well?
Right.
So I know I do this thing so well. I know how much time and effort I put into doing this thing. I know how great I can be at doing it. But have I been able to train myself well enough to position myself for more customers, put my work out there and all of that? So, at different points, I've had the different expressions that have been like more pronounced than the others. But now I'm at this stage that I am at right now, there is a balance and a structure that I'm building for the fashion expression and then the food and beverage expression of what I do.
Thank God you said you were putting yourself out there. I was going to ask you, but not on this podcast. But now that you mentioned it,
okay.
in terms of putting yourself out there, number one, I've not seen you put any picture or a video on any of your social media platform, especially WhatsApp status. You don't even do that. You don't even upload on your WhatsApp status. So what do you mean putting yourself out? I was going to ask you, because when we met on Sunday, was it on Sunday, the upper Sunday?
Yes.
And somebody was like, "Oh, would you want to test these clothes?" It came to my mind, like, wait, you don't post your work.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you put yourself out there? How do people know this is what you do? Let's start. How do people know? I was going to ask you, sincerely speaking.
So remember what I said? I'm learning. I'm trying to build a structure that works here. I don't think I do that at all.
You've never done it before. You've never done it before.
And that's because I get to overthink these things.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of work. This is way over. I mean, it's like my 10th year now in the fashion space. Where do I start from?
Start from anywhere.
So the good part is word of mouth.
Okay.
So I have a lot of referrals. So people who have seen me work, who have seen my work, who I have worked for, go ahead to return.
Right.
So returning customers, word of mouth, basically. This person is super good. I don't know why she doesn't put her work out there. You have to patronize this person, and then person has their own. But then there have been, of course, it's business.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to business that you deal with individuals. They are like specific. It's bespoke tailoring. It's not like a ready-to-wear fashion brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's bespoke. So there are a lot of consultation areas and all of that. So for my fashion arm, it's just been referrals. I've been working basically with referrals, people in my circle, my church service unit, friends, family, who in turn now go ahead to just refer me. I am still learning to collate evidences of my work and share. I've not started really sharing yet. I should start soon.
But it has not affected you in any way. Or has it?
It hasn't affected me because I have not thought of it as a channel yet.
Okay.
So if I thought of it as a channel, then I can say, oh, it's not flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because I believe if at this stage that I am, at this space that I'm getting leads and jobs and all of that, if I begin to put myself out there beyond the traditional, conventional way that it has been, I should get more leads.
Okay.
So, thinking about it here right now, it's definitely going to be great if I put myself out there. When I put myself out there, and way better. So, no more playing, no more playing.
No more playing. I hear you. It's not you. I hear you. But I want you to be real.
Okay.
Right. And of course, there have been losses in your businesses.
Oh,
be
yes.
From small shops, it could be obviously big losses.
Yes.
So, have there been like any financial regrets you've had, especially in business?
Nope. And that's because I have a very high appetite for risk.
Tell us about that one. Tell us.
So, I think this now boils down to the relationship I have with money.
Okay.
So, I have always seen money as a tool. Yes. I think it's also heavily influenced by my father's disposition to finances too.
Okay.
As a tool. You need to get something done. Can this be sorted out? Can we have money to make life easier? Then we can get the money to make life easier. Do you need to do anything whatsoever? So I've never had to, even in my adult life, worry about money, even when the finances are not like popping green. So that has helped me have a very healthy disposition to my entire business business space, so that in that when there are losses, or I just I have a healthy relationship with money, if I would say.
Okay.
I'm not downcast. I just look at it and I'm able to figure out, okay, what should I do better? What can be done better? And take it up from there.
So I'm trying to, okay. Let me not ask. Let me not ask. So what, for you, right?
Yes.
What do you think, in your opinion, even as regards people's personal life rather,
Yes.
and business, what do you think is like the dangerous belief people, especially Christians, hold about money? Your probably observation or Bible study. Yeah.
I don't know if I would say it's a belief, but it's a mindset.
Okay.
A belief in mindset. Money should be treated as a tool that it is. Money is a tool, and not it shouldn't define the essence of a person. It shouldn't define a person's being. So yes, there's a need to have finances up and running, have systems in place. Yes, there's a need for cash flow. But what if there isn't at that point? Does that affect how you lead your life? Does that affect your interpersonal relationships? Does that affect the quality of life as a believer? It shouldn't. So I feel people should have that mindset shift with money. Money is a tool. Yes, money is a tool, because the abundance. This is me paraphrasing Apostle Emmanuel Aaron right now. The one major thing he loves to admonish us with is how the abundance, the essence of our lives, does not consist of the things we have. There is so much more than the money.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm seeing money as a tool, seeing it as an inflow from a service or a product or whatever it is that is being rendered, or even a gift of favor, as money that it is, helps create a balance in the mind of believers. So I think believers should see it from that point of view.
And if we not even decide to link this what you just said, because even before we're having a conversation about starting what you have. Right. So we had a conversation for this podcast.
Yes.
So okay.
Okay.
I'm looking. Okay. Jesus help me. The thing now is,
yes,
for many people, right, they have ideas.
Yes.
Okay. But there are no resources.
Yes.
And but for many people, they have probably made it out financially.
Yes.
Some may have said at some point that it takes money to make money.
Oh yes, I believe that.
Good.
You spend money to make money.
So how do I bring the balance with, especially with the statement that is flying around? Yeah. Start with what you have. So what do you think?
You see that start with what you have admonition. It should be kinder on some people.
Okay.
Yes. So while we can look around and say to people, start with what you have, sometimes some people truly have nothing that they can start with. Now, it's important to note that I don't say they do not have anything at all. But the salient things they need to start with, they do not have them. So they may now have to convert what they have into what they need.
Okay.
You know, when people say start with what you have, there's always the mistake of looking out for the raw materials that are direct resources for what is needed. So when people hear start with what you have, with what you have right now, I would say there's a need to take a deep breath. Just pause. List out what is needed. and what is currently available to then know what can be translated into what I need. What do I have that can be translated? Because some people do not have the finances at all.
Right.
They do not have it. There is nowhere they are going to get it from.
And that is the limiting factor.
It is a huge limiting factor.
Okay.
And those who have it may not have the mindset required to implement what they need money for. You can't tell a person who hasn't healed from a very poor, terrible money mindset to be comfortable enough to invest that thing they think is not enough yet into a business they desire. It's not about them not desiring the business enough to want to invest into it. The fear of letting money flow out in possible product development. If the person has not healed enough to know that I can allow my money flow, I can put this money I have into this thing, it won't work. The person wouldn't be able to make decisions about money. So starting with what you have is a bit dicey, and we shouldn't just throw it around as a one piece or one size fits all for everybody. We should also understand people's contexts and be kinder when it comes to encouraging them to start from where they are. Some people do not know how. Some people do not see how. And some people do not have how.
Thank you. Paul. Okay. So if we decide to go what you said, for instance, or somebody, what should even be the next step? Okay, you mentioned look at around, start what you have and stuff like that. But what I mean is, where do we even have the concept of faith? Especially when you're about to start. That is one. Let's say that is one, when you're about to start.
Yes.
And secondly, as a business person, where does faith come into? That is two. Okay. Let me even bring this one. So is there how do we have budgeting and faith? I think it relates to both sides. So how do we have faith?
Being able to so I understand that being able to make plans and still have faith.
You're right.
Basically making plans, budgeting plans for your expenditure, business, having a business plan, and then still having faith. As a Christian, we are beings and should be beings of faith.
True.
There is no separating a believer. I do not see that happening at all. How do you live your life? How do you even accept the Lord as your personal Lord and Savior? There is a faith aspect to that. But we understand that in believing the Lord for directions and even getting directions from the Lord, there is the aspect of execution that requires action. And that is why the Bible says that faith without works is dead. So a person can be all faith and zero works. So yes, I have faith. I have faith. And now how do you apply your faith? Is you applying your faith in line with what you are convinced that the Lord would have you do per time is the productive part. Because yes, you have faith, you're working towards a thing. What is the basis of your faith? People can really claim they have faith, but it's baseless. What is the basis of your faith? Is this faith a thing that is hinged on the word of God? Yes, you're saying you didn't hear the word of God, you didn't hear a loud audible voice.
Did you hear a personal business, a voice? You should go into this. Sorry for cutting short. I just need to put that in. Did you hear from God before you move into a business? Or any business at all?
I didn't hear a loud audible voice.
But you hear the voice?
Of course, because I have come to learn that the Lord leads us with nudgings in our hearts.
Right.
There are so many other expressions we get to see. There are confirmations that you know in your heart as a believer. You know that this has to be the Lord. Because sometimes you lose your sleep on ideas.
Good. So you can go back to what you're saying.
You lose your sleep on ideas. So knowing that this is one thing. So when you do not even hear a loud audible voice from the Lord, as encouraged, the most sensible step at that point
Mm-hmm.
should be that path should be told. Just the because the Lord gave us that brain also because we have the Spirit of the Lord in us. We have the Holy Spirit. So when you say that this is I've not heard a loud audible voice, but in my heart of hearts, deep down, the Spirit of the Lord is in me, and I see this to be a light, a path to toe. Take that step. Don't lay idle. Keep working at something. Keep at it. And of course, if it's the wrong path, you'd definitely have to be sensitive enough, of course, to know when the Lord is restricting you from moving in that light. So have faith, work on it, know what the Lord is having you do. Take the step in that light. Until you hear, till you hear categorically, keep working at it, keep doing what you're doing and doing it well.
So before we bring this to a close, so I want to ask, like for instance, let's say personally, have you ever been wrong in the sense that you feel that God is leading you to take a financial step, move out by faith, and it backfired? How would you in a way process that? Have you ever been wrong, or if probably an investment somewhere and it backfired? You're like, but this wasn't God. Because if it was God, you don't have to turn out this way. So how would you? What would you say about that? Your thoughts?
I would really want people to know something very important. The fact that the Lord leads you does not mean it would come without its own form of challenges if there would be. So the leading of the Lord is a strong anchor for conviction to help you through times and seasons. But the leading of the Lord does not exempt trying times. Because even the Lord Jesus Christ told us, you have overcome, you have conquered, but you know that you will be tried. You know there will be trials, there will be tribulations, but the joy is in the fact that we know we are fighting from a place of victory. We are fighting from a place of great help. We know we are not alone. We know the Lord has conquered. But will there be trials or tribulations? Yes. Why do you think the disciples that were even told to go into the world, to disciple nations, to preach the gospel, were told that if they get into places to minister, to preach, and they are not received, they should dust their sandals and move out? Is it not the Lord that sends them to preach? There are places that people would go, there are steps that would be taken, there are decisions that would be made, and then there are roadblocks that could be encountered. For instance, the Lord is leading you to start a business, and then down the line, something happens. If the Lord is leading you, that does not exempt the fact that you'd have to put in your own work to research and do the right things, step by step, bricks upon bricks, do what should be done to build the business. But if along the line there's a roadblock, the assurance in the fact that this is the Lord's leading is more than enough to keep you anchored, to keep you. And like I said, good relationship with money, to know that even if I'm making this decision and for some reason I'm losing out in it, I am assured that the Lord is leading me. This does not cancel out God's leading. Neither does it mean that I didn't hear the Lord, especially when you're sure you heard the Lord. So challenges are not an indication of zero leading.
Okay.
Most times, challenges are even to be embraced as pointers to show that truly this is the path I need to really fight through, because I know the conviction I have of the Lord that this is what I should do. So with the challenges, you should persevere and push through.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's assume, is there something like timing in business? For instance, I'm not talking about execution, right? I'm talking about probably God has given you a leading to start a business. For instance, would there be a time allocated to it? Do you believe there's a time allocated to it, or it must start now the moment it comes?
Okay. So your previous question about whether I've had like any major time, I've thought, no, I haven't had that spending of money,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, oh no, what a bad decision. No, I haven't personally had that experience. When it comes to business ideas, I don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Timing is important.
Mm-hmm.
Timing is very important. So you get a business idea, try as much as possible to act on it. It's at that time, because I have seen things happen. I have seen seasons change. I've seen seasons change. Sometimes even the season of life that the person is in, not even just the business season, the season of life. There are things that are done at certain points in my life that if I didn't do them at that time, I don't think I would have been able to do them ever again. So that time factor is very important. But that doesn't mean for everyone who has had to sleep on an idea or a nudging from the Lord, that doesn't mean the person needs to like now wallow in the guilt of it. No, pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and start out. Act on it. Take steps. That in itself is the faith. Act it. Walk in it. Begin to research. Begin to study. Ask questions. Just act, and then don't overthink it. Because when I say begin to research, some people will be there for 3 years. What are you doing now?
It's called research.
What are you doing? Act. Take steps, real steps that are not fueled by fear, in line of what the Lord would have you do, in line of that business idea and all of that you're building.
Fear. Is fear a good thing? Especially in business. Is it a good thing?
It is not. It has never been a good thing.
But no, you hear something like that fear, like when you are scared, it means that whatever you want to, like motivational speaking, for instance. So when you are scared, just faith forward. Just take on your fear, like challenge your fear. Like the fear is it? Because if, for instance, people want to do something and it doesn't scare them, it means it's not big enough. Whatever they want to do is not big enough. You get the angle I'm coming from.
Okay, yeah, I think I do.
If they are not scared of the step they are taking, it means you get. So there must be this atom or iota of fear. You know that they are taking a very good step. So it's fear. Even as a believer, is fear a good thing? That kind of fear is a good thing?
No, it's not. And I do not want to target that fear. So it's dicey because as a believer, we should see that it's a huge thing, not a fearful thing.
Okay.
There is a mindset shift that should be had. So an idea, I can have an idea now and see, oh yes, this idea is a huge idea. It's not something a regular person without the help of God can conceive. It's big.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there may be that little, but fear should not be your fuel. Fear should not be your fuel. If you have an idea and you are vast you probably have been trained up to the point of being able to pick an idea and execute it. I feel like even the best businessmen, the seasoned businessmen, still have that point of pause. So it shouldn't be fear, but seeing the grand scale of things. Oh, is this a grand idea? Yes. Does it look like super major? Yes. But don't be scared.
Okay.
Fear is a very powerful word, but it should look grand. It should look huge. If it looks huge, if it looks grand to you, that's fine. That's okay. Take it heads on. Navigate the process. You may be scared at the initial stage, but don't stay in that fear. Don't stay there. So,
yeah, makes sense.
Having to embrace fear as I have to be scared about what is it now? Why do you want to be scared about it? Why do you want to be scared about it? See it as a huge plan. See it as a big thing. See it as a grand thing. which it should be, no matter what the idea is, see it as that big project to work on, but don't be scared.
Right.
I'm talking to myself also. Don't be scared.
So last question, right?
Yes.
And you reached that when we were talking, that was yesterday when we sent each other an email.
Yes.
And you said you had this new product you wanted to test.
Yes.
Right. And you showed me the product. Right.
Yes.
I believe it's a trial phase.
Trial phase of one of the products.
Okay. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
Right. And when you were speaking, when we started, and you said something about different expression. Now, small chops. Fashion designing. There's no connection. Is there a connection?
And that's why I categorized it food and beverage and then the fashion crafts.
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
And this one that you're probably launching now.
Food and beverage.
Good.
Okay.
What is fueling, or what is the idea behind this expression? Because some people might feel, for instance, they're into business, right? Of course, there are different arms in a business. And if you look well enough, you do realize that there is some sort of a connection. Get what I'm saying? So if they are doing A and B, someone who's learning A as a skill can easily transition to B.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And someone who's probably, if there's a C or a D, they could easily just navigate because there is some sort of connection. But for you, it's different. You get what I'm saying? Because right now, even based on this latest one, I want to believe what may have fueled it is your idea of microbiology and all of the stuff. I may be wrong, right? But there is no connection. It's not interrelated. So what is fueling this expression?
Now let me share the link with you.
Okay.
Let me share the link with you. So moving from, there had always been the food and beverage expression to it.
Right.
Yes. So moving from making chin chin to making small chops to making regular snacks, baking, because even departmental sign out cakes and like I did that in school, baking, private training. So I've taught people I've held private cooking trainings.
Right.
Yes. So people have paid me to privately teach them how to cook soups, teach them how to cook different stuff. So I do that private training. I've sold water and I made money. Major and this is where putting out my work comes in. So naturally, I will not want to deal with individuals back and forth. For instance, the fashion arm of my business. So I do not want to have to. It takes a lot of intentional work on my end to create a piece for a person. And I've not always wanted to put it out on a large scale. So if we say a major business arm, that is my major business arm. The business arm that I want everyone to come and see and look at has to be my food and beverage expressions.
Okay.
Yes. So when it comes to my crafts, the crafts for my fashion and my crochet and all of that, I would rather have that work on the scale I control.
Okay.
So this goes to show that yes, while we have our different gifts, our different skills, knowing what needs to be top priority or industrialized version of it is important. Understanding myself, what I want, and what I really want to share and put out there. I know that I still get my clients. It still works for me. Do I really want to have to do this with the general public? I do not think so. But with my food and beverages, general public, yes, I am doing this with the general public. So that is the uniqueness for me. That is my expression. So I do these things, but one is not what I'm looking to upscale to the industrial major cash inflow, business level, all of that. While the other is what is the business focus. But do I do this? Do I sew? Yes, I do. Clean finishing? Do I? Yes, I do. But what will I be willing to put out there to have so much more people look into? My food and beverage.
Okay.
Yes. That's where the balance comes in.
Thank you. More or less like knowing this is what I want to do. This is where
yes.
focus should be.
Yes.
Right. And I think that one thing that's quite important is, aside building a structure for a business, is knowing what you want to do.
Yes.
And because at times it seems as though for many business owners, they are all over the place. And they are not known for one thing. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. They might be good, but it just seems as though that's where, in quotes, the money is coming from. Right? Because I have had.
Yeah.
It's not about passion. Follow where the money is coming from. So which means you might most likely build a skill if it's needed. But I'll give you an example. For example, many people will be shocked to hear this from me.
Yes.
They know I design
as
a graphic designer and I've made money from it. But I don't have passion for graphic design.
Real case, real matter.
If it's anything I have passion for,
yes,
to be video editing. But money has not come from there. You get the gist?
Yeah, I do.
So it's more or less like knowing. So even when it comes to business and structure, like you said, if there's anything people know me for, it's a graphic design part. Many people don't even know me for video editing, but I didn't even push myself there. I didn't even stress myself. Right, I just stayed there. Let me just you get what I'm saying. So much like knowing, having a focus, and if it's possible, just make. No. Let me put this way. The way they'll say it in the corporate world, building authority
in a space.
You get what I'm saying? Do you have something to say about that?
Yes. So, in recent times, my cash flow, my major business
over.
Yeah, has been from my fashion design arm.
Okay.
Funnily enough. And that's where having like different skills come into play. Because I believe that it's fine if you have to take from here to fuel there. If this is where the money is coming in from at this point, you know that at the end of the day, this is what you're really going to. It's the other thing you're pushing. It's the other thing you're interested in. Don't say because you want to tell a story in quotes.
Right.
You want everything to make sense to people. It doesn't have to make sense to people. Just ensure that whatever it is you're doing, you're able to keep at it and do it well. So that when you diversify and you now focus on what you're really passionate about, you know that you didn't lose the opportunity that your other expression gave you with your inflow that you needed to fuel the industrial part of your skills.
Right. So last question.
Yes.
What do you think is the balance between passion and inflow? What are your thoughts about it in general?
Create a system. If you have a 9-to-5 that is paying, keep at your 9-to-5. Create a system of sustainability while building that thing of your passion. I'm not going to tell you try to build your business gradually as much as you can. It's not easy. Business building is a lot. In fact, it takes the entirety of a person's time, a person's existence, and all of that. But ensure that for starters, because eventually you'd have to work on your business to keep fueling your business. Yeah.
True.
That you don't move out without a form of cushion.
Yeah, strong gold.
Yes, you don't move out empty, because you're leaving your 9-to-5 now. How do you want to build your business? You don't even have enough saved to start out, even if it's a production line of something that's, no matter the minimum order quantity, you can't even produce anything. So, if it's where the inflow is coming from, wherever the inflow is coming from, ensure that you keep the inflow as much as possible and take from that inflow to build where your passion is. And sometimes for some people, it could be 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that long that you see people who have worked in corporate say they never really, if the money is coming from there, keep at it, but don't lose track of what the passion is. Don't lose track of what it is. And sometimes your passion might even be your side gig and not your main deal.
Mm-hmm.
Not every passion should be a main deal. Not every passion should be a main deal. But should you be passionate about what is your business, what your business expression is? Yes, develop it, find a way, grow to love it, choose to love it. But you don't have to always have an emotional attachment to every business idea that you nurse or execute.
There was no be. I said last question. I'm sorry, especially last part. I know I said last. What do you mean? There should not be an emotional attachment to every business.
We're crying out loud. Business and emotions. It's great if you have it though, but you don't need emotions to run businesses.
Right. No, I know that part. Right.
So for everybody who is thinking they need to be attached, they need to feel my dear. You see the solution you're preferring to this. You see a problem and you have a solution you're preferring to it. Go for it. Emotions will catch up later. You feel the vibe of the business, but you don't need that to start your business. You don't need to come and explain. You don't need to explain to anybody the connection you felt to a thing. You don't need to always have a story to tell. You see, be careful not to want to paint a perfect picture, a smooth story. You saw a problem and you had a solution. Go, that's your business. That is how I started my business. It doesn't have to be an emotional thing. It doesn't have to be a grass to grace story. No, you can also start from, some people feel bad because they had leverage, they had support, and they feel bad because they feel their story is not grass to grace enough. Hello. It's not out of place to say you built from leverage, you built from support, you built from, don't feel bad, don't feel sorry. Yes, you leveraged on it, you're wise enough to do that. Congratulations, kudos to you. Don't feel sorry for anything. You've not done anything wrong. You had assistance in the early stages of your business. You see it as the business that it is. You're objectively looking at it as a business. Fine, it's not a child that you should be. It's not a child that you have to, as a parent, be emotionally linked, even as a mother with after childbirth, chooses to now nurture and love her child. So you choose to nurture and love your business.
Right.
It's a business first.
Business first, emotions later. So, maybe I'll mention your name. Thank you for doing this with me, actually. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And it's a short notice. Abi, was short notice, Abi?
It's you, so I didn't consider it to be a short notice.
Thank you for showing up.
You're
and
welcome.
we've come to the end of this episode.
Wow.
The first time in a long time I didn't have to talk. So thank you very much, Mary.
Hey.
And I'm out.
See you.